Right now, Madison residents are asking their mayor for more police officers so they can feel safe in their own community. Plus, some closure for the family of a windsurfer killed in an accident on Lake Mendota. We have an update on their wrongful death lawsuit straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on this Friday, November 7th. I'm Leah Lynchide. Josh Spreiter, a little under the weather this morning. Hattie McLean bringing the top news of the day in Alert Day.
Yeah, it is cold. We changed our focus from snow to cold temperatures, unseasonably cold conditions, feeling more like January than November, so keep that in mind. What you need to know about the forecast today is that our temperatures will be about 20 degrees below normal today and tomorrow. Briefly, we're going to warm up on Saturday and take that with a grain of salt. I'm talking just temperatures in the 30s and then near record cold again next week. So many alert days in the forecast. Again, these temperatures are much colder than they would normally be this time of the year. The good news is we have sunshine, though. Here's a look at your WISC-TV sky camera shot this morning. We have clear skies across southern Wisconsin, but it is cold. We're still dropping. This is the actual air temperature, 14 in Madison. Janesville has now dropped to 19. It's down to 10 in the Dells, and just single digits in Camp Douglas. Kind of hard to ignore that 3 degrees below zero in Black River Falls. Take a look at your wind chills. It feels like it's in the single digits in many locations this morning. So bundle up. Wind chills over the next 12 hours. You don't have to bother with temperature today because this is what it's going to feel like on your skin. Wind chills only climb into the teens this afternoon. Now, here's a look at your traffic maps early today. No major issues, but keep in mind that any moisture that was left on the roads after yesterday is now frozen. It was a very noisy drive to work. Those side streets are crunchy. There's a little bit of ice here and there. Sidewalks are slippery as well. The backyard weather patio is glare ice right now.
I tried to turn on my windshield wipers this morning to help me clear off the snow.
Are they stuck?
Frozen solid, yeah.
You're gonna warm up the car a little bit today.
Took you a couple minutes to get the ice off the car today.
Yes.
Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, let's take a live look at how the roads are shaping up this morning. There is no snow falling right now, but it is icy out there, folks. You're taking a look at US 51 at 19. As the sun comes up, you're going to be able to see that glare of ice shining off of the roads, especially the side roads that didn't get as salted as thoroughly as some of the main roads. Now, like Hattie said, everything moving along pretty well right now. We will, of course, continue to track your first alert traffic throughout the program. Topping the news today, 2 people are recovering after a crash on Highway 14 last night. It happened in the town of Brooklyn around 9:30. The Rock County Sheriff's Office tells us an SUV slid sideways because of road conditions and a truck T-boned the vehicle. Both drivers had to be taken to the hospital and treated for broken bones. MedFlight was initially requested for the crash, but it couldn't be sent because of the weather. Around the state, commuters are still talking about yesterday's snowy drive to work. Our area didn't get the worst of it, unlike our neighbors further north. Some areas of Saukville saw snow that piled up with dangerous conditions causing several accidents, one of them fatal. The driver of a Pontiac crashed into a disabled semi-truck parked on the shoulder of I-43 and died at the scene. These recent record snowfalls are prompting all drivers to be a little more cautious.
People think they're invincible and that it's not going to happen to them, but it can happen in a blink of an eye.
If you don't have a really good reason to drive in weather like today, then don't. It's not worth it.
The semi-truck driver involved in that fatal crash was not hurt. The National Weather Service is starting to issue a new warning to keep you safe as we start to see more snow in our area. Snow squalls are rare, but they can be deadly here in Wisconsin as bursts of heavy snow along with strong winds can whip up whiteout conditions. The National Weather Service says it will start issuing snow squall warnings when the conditions are right. Those bursts usually last an hour or less. They're the winter equivalent of a tornado. Take a look at this. This is video from the town of Westport where an explosion was caught on camera. Police tell us it was the result of a car running inside of a garage, building up the carbon monoxide levels, then blowing up. Luckily, no one was hurt. The house itself wasn't damaged either, though the garage is not usable. Madison Gas and Electric is still working to confirm that source. 6:04 on your Thursday, we have new information this morning about Monday's massacre of a U.S. family in Mexico. We're learning that the guns used to kill 3 mothers and 6 children were made in the U.S. Investigators say there were more than 200 bullets at the scene. Police also say the person arrested yesterday was not involved in the murder of the family. Alex LeBaron, one of the slain family members' relatives, tweeted at the president asking for his help. LeBaron called for closing loopholes that allow the kinds of weapons that killed his family to be brought into Mexico. NPR reports that just last year, Mexico reported a record 33,000 homicides. That's a 15% increase from the previous year. An update now. The man suspected of hitting and killing a pedestrian earlier this week is out of jail on a $500 signature bond. The crash happened on Highway 12 Monday night. As part of the bond, a judge ordered Sean Jones not to drive or use drugs or alcohol. He's facing a tentative charge of operating on a revoked license causing death. The state hasn't filed a criminal complaint yet, though, and is still determining those charges. State Patrol investigators, meanwhile, doing a crash reconstruction while blood samples are at the state crime lab. Jones has his next bond hearing scheduled for next month. Right now, another suspect is in custody for allegedly using at least 5 counterfeit $100 bills in Mount Horeb last month. Police say this case could be connected to other counterfeit cases in our area. The bills were printed on real currency paper, which is why they passed that usual marker test. The owner of Mary's Coffee Express in Mount Horeb says she's no longer accepting $100 bills after a neighboring business was fooled.
Well, you know, $100 is, for me, it's a lot of money. And what would happen is the bank returns it, and then we're just out.
The old technology for checking $100 bills, we're finding isn't working anymore as well. The criminals have kind of come up with a clever way to get around the marker test.
Stoughton detective Alan Adams says criminals print $100 images on bleached $1 bills. It's something he's seen in his town as well. Mount Horeb police remind businesses they do have the right to refuse large currency. A local neighborhood association is hoping Madison city leaders can still make room in next year's budget for more police officers. The Orchard Ridge Neighborhood Association wrote a letter to the mayor saying people there want more officers in order to feel safe. In a survey of neighbors, 74% said public safety is their #1 concern. 76% said they want the city to fund the 31 officers the department had asked for.
I just think if people feel this way in this neighborhood, they feel this way in other parts of the city as well. And they want to be heard, and they don't feel they're being heard.
Mayor Rhodes Conway said in her budget proposal, policing is only one component of what makes the city healthy and safe. The public hearing on that budget is still about a week away. The state of Wisconsin is reaching a settlement with the family of Yu Chen this morning. He's the windsurfer who was killed in a collision with a UW life-saving boat back in 2017 on Lake Mendota. The boat was returning to the station house on East Gilman Street after a service call when that collision happened. The wrongful death case has been settled for $850,000. The UW said in a statement, Yu Chen's death was a tragedy and that this resolution would help everyone involved move forward. Chen's lawyers say the settlement was reached so that the victim's elderly mother wouldn't have to go through lengthy litigation. The family has also donated a bench in James Madison Park in Yu's honor. 6:08 on your Thursday. Parents and taxpayers, listen up. The Madison School District wants your input on a multi-million-dollar referendum that could impact your student's school. Christina Laurie's reporting on how you can weigh in. That's coming up next. Plus, Hattie's giving you the first alert on some possibly record-breaking temperatures that are going to stick through the weekend. She's making sure you know when to bundle up. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
This portion
Good morning from the patio, where it's definitely cold outside. I'm standing on a layer of ice on the patio. All that snow and moisture from yesterday is definitely frozen across southern Wisconsin. And we're talking cold temperatures for days. Many alert days in the forecast due to this unseasonably cold weather. We're talking about 20 degrees below normal right now. Next week, temperatures will be about 25 degrees below normal. Think January, not November. So normally when we'd be dealing with temperatures like this, we'd be talking about taking down the Christmas decorations. But this year, we haven't even cooked the turkey yet. I haven't even bought the turkey yet. That's how ahead of schedule temperatures like this are. Here's our high temperature trend over the next 10 days. Temperatures should be hitting highs in the mid to upper 40s. We don't even come close to that. Saturday's the warmest day, but we're still stuck with highs in the 30s. So get all the layers out. You're going to need them. We have just some high-level clouds in Platteville this morning. A nice shot thanks to our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam of Platteville. You can see there temperature is 14 degrees, same as we are here in Madison. It's down to 10 in the Dells, 13 in Watertown. Winds are a bit of a factor this morning. They're from the northwest, not terribly strong right now, but it's enough to send wind chills down into the single digits. In fact, we even have some negative numbers on the map this morning. It feels like 5 below in Camp Douglas, feels like 2 below this morning in Viroqua. Unfortunately, we're going to have to get used to these conditions. Wind chills will only improve into the teens throughout the afternoon. Here's a look at your future track forecast. It will be cold, but I guess at least we have sunshine. It is forecasting mostly sunny skies through the day today. Temperatures will be getting back into the mid-20s by lunchtime. We'll top only in the mid-20s in most locations this afternoon. Those winds from the northwest will be a bit breezy at times as well. Staying clear tonight and pretty cold. I think some spots will be in the single digits by this time tomorrow. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have 5 alert days in the forecast today and tomorrow, and then again next week. Looks even colder. Those nighttime lows in the single digits, daytime highs barely making it to 20 degrees. Let's get a look at those traffic maps now. We'll send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Not much happening on the Beltline. All lanes are moving at the posted speed limit. Lines are forming at intersections on Verona Road between the Beltline and Highway PD. All routes into Madison and around Dane County are clear for the morning commute. And inbound East Wash has small lines at the intersections. Otherwise, no issues on the Isthmus or campus at this time. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you, Hattie. 6:14 now. Right now, the Madison School District is deciding whether it will ask you to help pay for some major upgrades for its students with a multi-million-dollar referendum next year. Our Christina Laurie is live this morning with how you can share your input. Hi, Christina.
Good morning, Leah. If you're a parent of a Madison area student, you'll want to bundle up tonight and come out here to Memorial High for a special input session that's being held, because whether you have kids in the district right now or you will have them anytime in the next 50 or so years, tonight is your chance to make your voice heard. From 6 until 7:30, families can talk with school district officials and architects about proposed projects to the district's 4 high schools and offer their input. Under the current proposal, the district would use $70 million per school to correct problems that have developed with aging. Another $30 million would be used to build a new elementary school in the Rimrock area, and a possible $6 million would move Capitol High West Side and East Side students into a permanent home at Hoyt School. Earlier this year, the school district hired a couple of architects to figure out just how much work is needed. They graded each school. La Follette, West, and Memorial High Schools each got a C in their current condition. East High got a D. So that's the impetus behind tonight's meeting, again, which is from 6 until 7:30 here at Memorial High School. And if you have a child who's 4 and up, free childcare is provided at tonight's meeting for you. You can also get a free ride here to Memorial High. Sign up for that at the link on our website, channel3000.com. And then coming up at 6:30, we'll talk about what's next, what district officials will do with all the information they collect from you at tonight's meeting. But I'll send it back to you, Leah.
Plenty of parents looking forward to that meeting. Christina Laurie, thank you very much. At the state capitol, we are learning that a bill requiring elementary schools to teach cursive could cost public and charter schools up to nearly $6 million. The estimate from the state is for student materials alone. It doesn't include added costs for teacher training. Several lawmakers are raising concerns that schools with low budgets would have to make cuts elsewhere in order to teach cursive. The bill's authors say the benefits can't be matched, especially considering research that shows students with dyslexia have an easier time with cursive compared to print. Thousands of children in Wisconsin will now have access to milk, all because of a pretty big donation. Festival Foods and Kemp's Milk are teaming up and donating 500,000 cartons of milk to food pantries across the Midwest. Here in Wisconsin, Feeding America up in Little Chute near Appleton is accepting those cartons by the truckload.
This is pretty huge. When they pulled up and we saw them open the truck and saw those 18 pallets of milk on there, we really realized the impact they're making.
Now, the milk being delivered doesn't have to be refrigerated and has a shelf life of just 1 year. In just one day of deliveries, Feeding America received more than 55,000 cartons of milk. In Rock County, a new housing development could be coming to town soon. The catch, it would be built on a site that's currently occupied by the Beloit Town Hall. The building has been empty for the last few months. While it's still not a done deal, this proposed development would include several duplexes and other multi-unit housing. 6:18 your time now. We have an update on hate crime charges filed in Milwaukee after an acid attack on a Hispanic man. We'll hear how he's doing with support pouring in from across the country coming up after the break. And you're waking up to temperatures in the teens, maybe even single digits in your neck of the woods, but we're going to see a whole heck of a lot of that right there, folks. The sun. Hattie's got your alert day forecast coming up when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Cobra's
All right, if the cold isn't exactly what you wanted to wake up to this morning, maybe this is
nice.
Beautiful sunrise out there, right?
Yeah, one of those looks great, especially when you're inside, warm cup of coffee or tea.
I know. Feeling really good in the warm studio looking out at the sunrise.
Yeah, it's cold outside
Yeah.
and very slippery on untreated sidewalks, so be careful this morning. But a nice sunrise early today. Make sure those kids have all the layers, though. Take a look at our current temperatures. This is what it is outside right now. 14 in Madison, 19 in Janesville, down to 10 in the Dells. Prairie du Chien is at 15 degrees. That's only part of the story, though. Winds are from the northwest. Even a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind is enough to send those wind chills down into the single digits. So when you're considering your clothing choices for the day today and for the kids, think January, not November. Wind chills will be in the teens this afternoon, much colder than it should be this time of the year. Here's your bus stop weather forecast. At least we have the sunshine. It's best news. Temperatures, though, will climb to highs only in the middle 20s this afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. We are following breaking news nationally overnight. The U.S. and Beijing are agreeing to gradually cancel tariff hikes. This is as their trade negotiations continue to move forward. President Trump and Xi Jinping agreed last month to resume trade talks in an effort to resolve a more than year-long dispute over technology and industrial policy. Televised hearings of the impeachment inquiry into President Trump are set to begin next week. Bill Taylor, the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, will testify Wednesday. So will Deputy Assistant Secretary of State George Kent. On Friday, former ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch will appear. They have all already given depositions behind closed doors. At a Wednesday night rally in Louisiana, President Trump called the inquiry an illegal sham. Looking ahead now, we are expecting former Attorney General Jeff Sessions to announce his candidacy to try and get back his old Alabama Senate seat. Sessions was a senator before stepping down to become President Trump's AG. Last year, the president asked him to resign, effectively firing him after repeated clashes about Sessions recusing himself from the investigation into Russian meddling. Happening today at the Wisconsin Capitol, the state assembly is planning to attempt its first veto override in 11 years. Republicans want to target 3 partial budget vetoes by Governor Evers, but they don't have enough votes to pass them without Democratic support. The vetoes killed funding to create a northern Wisconsin regional crisis center, in addition to blocking $5 million a year for doctors who care for people in state health care programs. It also gave the Evers administration more flexibility on how to spend $500,000 to increase the number of health care providers. 6:24 now. The man accused of throwing battery acid on a Hispanic man's face while arguing about a parking spot is officially being charged with a hate crime. Mahmoud Vialez is a U.S. citizen and says the attack on him is a threat to his entire community. His second-degree burns and extensive scarring will take weeks to heal. He says even though the incident showed him the ugliness in humanity, this attack is also bringing him love and support from all over the country.
Really glad to know there's a lot of good people out there, just caring about other people.
Prosecutors say 61-year-old Clifton Blackwell could now face a longer sentence if he's convicted of first-degree reckless injury. Still ahead this morning, we have the top 3 things you need to know as you head out the door on your Thursday. And there's a plan to clean up PFAS detected at Truex Field here in Madison and make sure your family's drinking water stays safe from those chemicals. That story's next on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for staying with us on this Thursday, November 7th. I'm Leah Lynchide. Hattie's tracking some potentially record-breaking weather this morning. It's one of our top 3 stories making headlines. First, though, the family of Yu Chen will receive $850,000 in a wrongful death settlement with the state. The windsurfer was killed in a collision with a UW life-saving boat on Lake Mendota back in 2017. Both the family and the UW agreed the settlement would help everyone move forward. The second story we're following, we have new information on the massacre of a U.S. family in Mexico. We're learning that the guns used to kill 3 mothers and 6 children were all made in the U.S. Police found more than 200 bullets at the scene. Investigators say the person arrested yesterday was not involved in the murder of that family. And the third story this morning, the potential for some record-breaking cold is settling in on this alert day. This, of course, follows some unseasonably early snow across southern Wisconsin. Yesterday's storm led to several accidents across the state, including a fatal crash in suburban Milwaukee. Now, Hattie's monitoring the cold weather this morning with lows dropping potentially into the single digits, Hattie.
That's right, Leah. It's going to get pretty darn cold around here, and we could even see some new records across southern Wisconsin. Take a look. Here are the numbers. Now, for this morning or for this afternoon, our record low-high temperature is 23. I forecast a high of 26, so we're close to that. And then overnight tonight, we will drop to a low of 8. The record low temperature is 7. So again, very close to those record conditions. That cold temperature or the cold weather is here. Temperatures are in the teens this morning, 14 in Madison, 10 in the Dells, 16 in Monroe. Take a look at your temperatures over the next 12 hours. We're only going to climb to highs in the middle 20s this afternoon. Northwesterly winds will create a bit of a wind chill as well. It'll likely feel like it's in the teens. Here's a look at your News 3 Now First Alert traffic maps. Starting to get a little busier on Verona Road. Some brake lights showing up on the Beltline right around Stoughton Road and Park Street as well. Your drive times a little slower on Verona Road, but you're still going near posted speeds. And that's your First Alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. State regulators say the Wisconsin National Guard is responsible for contaminating soil and groundwater around Truex fields. The Department of Natural Resources says the chemicals found are associated with firefighting foam. The National Guard told the DNR they will negotiate a cleanup plan. If they don't follow through, though, the agency will have to take legal action. Staying at Truex, we are now expecting to hear whether F-35 fighter jets will be stationed there by this spring. The public comment period on the environmental impact statement ended last week. The National Guard thanked the community, plus local and regional leaders, for their feedback. If the U.S. Air Force picks Truex to host the jets, they'd arrive here by 2024. 6:31 now. The legal age to buy tobacco products here in Wisconsin could be changing. This comes as teen use increases, and health officials warn about the dangers that vaping products can cause to teenagers' lungs and to their heart. They're pushing for a new magic number to buy and sell any tobacco products. That bipartisan proposal would increase the minimum age from 18 to 21.
I think it would make a huge deal because 18, that's seniors. Those are still in our high schools. So 21, there aren't a lot of kids that I know that hang out with college kids.
The bill's supporters argue the proposal would stunt the growth in popularity of e-cigarettes among younger people. The measure still needs to pass both the Senate and the Assembly and be signed by Governor Evers before it can become law. All right, the Madison School District wants to hear from you before it asks taxpayers for more than $100 million to upgrade its buildings. Our Christina Laurie is live this morning with how you can weigh in. Hi there, Christina.
Good morning, Leah. Whether you're the parent of a current Madison area student or will have a student attending Madison area schools someday, tonight's meeting is your chance to weigh in and voice your opinion on what you'd like to see done to Madison area schools in the future. School board members want to know what changes they should include in their possible $100 million referendum that you might find on the ballot in 2020. That money could be used to fix aging parts of the district's 4 high schools if the referendum passes. Also on that referendum, the addition of a new elementary school in the Rimrock area, which would cost up to $30 million. Now, last year, the Madison Metropolitan School District hired a couple of outside architects to figure out how much work is needed. They gave La Follette, West, and Memorial High Schools each a C in their current conditions. East High got a D. And tonight from 6 until 7:30, you can share the changes you'd like to see made to these schools. Those changes will then be compiled and delivered to the school board at their official January meeting. You'll then get a chance to help the board fine-tune those changes at another series of meetings coming up in February. But first is tonight's meeting. Again, that's from 6 until 7:30 here at James Madison Memorial High School. There is free childcare provided for anyone with any parents of kids ages 4 and up. You can also get a free ride out to tonight's meeting. You can sign up for that ride on our website, channel3000.com. But if you're coming out, word of advice, bundle up. It is really cold out here this morning, Leah.
Yeah, poor Christina. Get on into the live truck. We will talk to you in a little bit. Thank you, Christina. So many of you parents are getting ready for that first quarter report card, and studies show transitioning from elementary to middle school can lead to worse grades. It's something researchers at UW-Madison are trying to prevent, along with attendance issues and behavioral problems at that 6th grade level. They came up with a simple survey asking those tweens about their biggest challenges and their best advice, then sharing those responses with their peers.
I mean, I think that is something that is much more believable to kids and something that doesn't appear as something so preachy and something that they have to do. Rather, this was just simple advice that, look, you know, this is tough for everybody.
That message of belonging and solidarity is one that's emphasized in Toki Middle School here in Madison. We'll show you how teachers and administrators are doing that. We'll also tell you why the UW's research could be an affordable option that helps all 6th graders. That story's coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10. All right, still ahead this morning in the Morning Sprint, we'll tell you about 2 Twitter employees who are being charged with spying on the U.S. for a foreign country. And just in time for all the early snow we're seeing, Starbucks is bringing the holiday cheer in a cup, when you can get your festive drink and save a little cash while you're at it. That's straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning. So we always ask you to share your morning with us, and my cousin Amy sent this beautiful sunrise coming over the Wisconsin River to me and my family. Since my brother Levi died, I think my whole family has tried to take in more sunrises with our families. Just take more time to enjoy the simple things in life. So I had to share this photo with Amy and give all of you folks a reminder to take a minute this morning, be grateful for your family, be grateful for those sunrises. Thanks for Amy to send this in to us, and be sure to share your photos with us on our Facebook pages, on our Instagram pages, and on Twitter. All you have to do is use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. All right, 6:39 your time now. If you're grabbing some coffee as you head into work this morning, get ready to get merry. Holiday drinks and cups are back at Starbucks. You're taking a look at this year's holiday cups, which have 4 new designs. The returning drinks include peppermint mocha, chestnut praline, and eggnog latte. There's also a promotion being offered where customers will receive a reusable cup that's going to get you 50 cents off of any grande holiday beverage until January 7th. Perfect for that early snow we're seeing. All right, speaking of holidays, if you're still making your Thanksgiving plans, you might want to consider heading to some of these cities instead of Madison. Wallet Hub is out with its best places to go this holiday, and they're naming St. Paul, Minnesota as #1, which makes no sense to me. It's colder in Minnesota. Scottsdale, that makes more sense. Virginia Beach, Orlando, and Denver round out the top 5. Madison comes in at 33. Researchers looked at the cost of Thanksgiving dinner and flights to volunteer opportunities and weather. Okay, to my favorite story of the morning and trending now. The internet is falling in love with a plus-size bear named T-Shirt and the officers who helped him get out of a sticky situation. Check this out. T-Shirt got stuck while dumpster diving in California. Look at that poor guy. This is dash cam video from some sheriff's deputies who recognized the big bear from this white patch on his chest. Isn't that adorable?
It's super cute. I know it's a bear and all, but
I know everybody else is
I
like.
love that they named him T-Shirt.
I know,
That's
he has
hilarious.
a name. He's like a pet.
Just trying to find food.
So deputies were able to help him get out of here, so he eventually flopped out, as you can see. Move on with his night. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a scary big bear, but we love animals here on the morning show.
Looks like he hasn't missed a meal, so he must know where to find the good stuff in the dumpster.
Some good stuff in the dumpster. Jeez.
Look at that. Oh.
All right. Well, it looks like T-Shirt is getting some winter weight on for hibernation. If you're stepping outside today, maybe you want to hibernate as well. Start gaining weight. What do you think?
Look like you're trying to get out of bed because you just really don't want to get out of bed this morning.
Right.
It's warm. We have cold temperatures coming up. Alert days in the forecast, Leah, for this unseasonably cold weather. Think January more than November.
Looking forward to that. All right, we'll check in with Hattie's forecast after the break. But first, it is Thursday, November 7th, a chilly Thursday, November 7th. We want to say happy birthday to Gretchen and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Look at
Welcome back. 6:44 on your Thursday, and a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning at that. Take a peek at what it's looking like out in Platteville. A little snow covered, but some really beautiful colors coming up just in time for that earlier sunrise. Hattie, I'm liking it, even if it's cold.
I know. I love seeing the light earlier in the day. We have some pretty cold temperatures that we're talking about coming up for this week and next week, but the one bright spot might be Saturday, where temperatures aren't expected to be as cold, and that's good news. Girls on the Run takes place Saturday in Wanakee. These girls have been training all fall to run this race on Saturday morning. You're going to have to run fast to stay warm, girls. Temperatures only in the 20s through the morning hours, but at least we have some sunshine. Outside of a few flurries early on, really the forecast looks dry for Saturday. So good stuff coming up for Saturday. But bookending Saturday are alert days. Today and tomorrow, unseasonably cold temperatures have prompted alert days in the forecast. Temperatures will be about 20 degrees below normal. We could see some close to record lows. And then as we head into next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, temperatures are even colder, about 25 degrees below normal. We could see some new records set during that time frame as well. So you need to plan ahead. It is going to be quite cold around here. Here's the upper air pattern, and you can see this cold air that is just moving into the Great Lakes region through the rest of this week. We do get that brief reprieve on Saturday. Temperatures moderating a little bit, then watch this next lobe of cold air move into the area, and this second blast of cold air is going to be even colder than the first one, and look how far south it goes. It's going to be getting into some of those southern states as well. So I guess misery loves company. We're not going to be the only ones suffering with colder than normal temperatures. We will moderate a little bit as we head towards the end of next week, but that's a long ways from now. Current setup this morning, high pressure in control that has scoured out all of the clouds across the area. It moves off to the south and east, and we'll watch a warm front spreading in from the west. Not a lot of moisture for this front to work with, maybe a few flurries Friday night into early Saturday, but it does warm us up briefly. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky camera. Looking to the east, catching the sunrise this morning. We have clear skies and cold conditions. It's 14 in Madison. In the Dells, now you've dropped to 9 degrees. 19 in Janesville this morning, 12 in Juneau. Winds are from the northwest this morning. They're not terribly strong, but they will be increasing in speed as we head towards the afternoon. I think those wind speeds more in the 10 to 15 mile an hour range, heading towards the lunch hour and early afternoon time frame. That's going to make it a little bit uncomfortable outside. Your future track wind chill forecast today. We have clear skies, but cold conditions. Wind chills in the single digits this morning. By lunchtime, we're only seeing wind chills in the teens, and that's about as warm as it gets today. Wind chills will stay in the mid-teens through the afternoon, but then dropping into the single digits as you head home from work. So take a look at your extended forecast. Temperatures will top only in the mid-20s today, 26, 29 tomorrow. Again, Saturday's the warmest day. Otherwise, next week looks pretty darn cold once again, with those nighttime lows dropping into the single digits. Take a look. Is that Hachi?
Is that a dog or
That's a dog.
Teddy bear?
Yeah, my aunt has a dog. I think my aunt has the same type of dog. They're super cute.
What a
Just
cutie.
big fluff balls.
Ooh, that's who I want to snuggle up with today.
You need lots of fur to stay warm in this kind of weather.
Yes, you do. Thank you very much, Addie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next.
Fall in.
6:51, time for the morning sprint with the most local news to get your Thursday started. First, the family of Yu Chen will receive $850,000 in a wrongful death settlement with the state. The windsurfer was killed in a collision with a UW life-saving boat on Lake Mendota back in 2017. Both the family and the UW agreed the settlement would help everyone involved move forward.
People think they're invincible and that it's not going to happen to them, but it can happen in a blink of an eye.
Drivers are being encouraged to take it easy in unseasonably early snow across southern Wisconsin. Yesterday's snow led to several accidents, including a fatal crash up in Saukville. The driver of a Pontiac crashed into a disabled semi-truck there, parked on the shoulder of I-43. That driver died at the scene. 2 people are recovering after a crash on I-14 overnight. It happened in the town of Brooklyn around 9:30. The Rock County Sheriff's Office tells us an SUV slid sideways because of road conditions and a truck T-boned the vehicle. Both drivers had to be taken to the hospital and treated for broken bones. As we start to see more snow in the area, the National Weather Service is starting to issue a new warning to help keep you safe. Snow squalls are rare, but can be deadly, as bursts of heavy snow along with strong winds can whip up whiteout conditions. The National Weather Service says it will start issuing snow squall warnings when the conditions are right. These bursts are the winter equivalent of a tornado.
Squalls in the forecast today. A lot of sunshine and cold conditions. Take a look. Sun coming up here over Madison. Mostly clear skies this morning. It feels like it's in the single digits above and below zero in some spots. Camp Douglas feels like 5 degrees below zero this morning. These wind chills are not going to improve much today. Temperatures will be much colder than they should be. Our actual air temperature will climb to 26 later on this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Hattie. The State Assembly is planning to attempt its first veto override in 11 years. Republicans want to target 3 partial budget vetoes by Governor Evers, but they don't have enough votes to pass them without Democratic support. The vetoes killed funding to help a crisis center and $5 million a year for doctors who care for people in state health care programs.
Right now, the Madison School District is drafting a more than $100 million referendum to include on its 2020 ballot, and tonight they are asking for your help. The district is hosting a special input session where you could weigh in on updates you'd like to see at the district's 4 area high schools. Under the current proposal, the district would use $70 million per high school to correct problems that have developed with aging. Another $30 million would be used to build a new elementary school in the Rimrock area. And a possible $6 million would move Capitol High West Side and East Side students into a permanent home at Hoyt School. Tonight's meeting is from 6 until 7:30. You can arrange for a free ride and free childcare at the link on our website, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Christina. A bill requiring elementary schools to teach cursive could cost public and charter schools up to nearly $6 million. Several lawmakers are raising concerns that schools with low budgets would have to make cuts elsewhere in order to teach cursive. The bill's authors say the benefits of cursive can't be matched, especially considering research that shows cursive is easier for students with dyslexia to read. State regulators say the Wisconsin National Guard is responsible for contaminating soil and groundwater around Truex Field. The Department of Natural Resources says the chemicals found are associated with firefighting foam. The National Guard told the DNR they will negotiate a cleanup plan. If they don't follow through, the agency will have to take legal action. The man accused of throwing battery acid on a Hispanic man's face while arguing about a parking spot is officially being charged with a hate crime in Milwaukee. Mahoud Viales is a U.S. citizen and says the attack on him is a threat to his entire community. Prosecutors say 61-year-old Clifton Blackwell could now face a longer sentence if he's convicted of first-degree reckless injury. The legal age to buy tobacco products here in Wisconsin could be changing. This comes as health officials warn about the dangers vaping products and e-cigarettes can cause to teenagers' heart and lungs. They're pushing for the minimum age to go from 18 to 21. It would need to pass both the Senate and Assembly and be signed by Governor Evers before officially becoming law. We're following breaking news nationally overnight. The U.S. and Beijing are agreeing to gradually cancel tariff hikes as their trade negotiations continue to move forward. Presidents Trump and Xi Jinping agreed last month to resume those trade talks in an effort to resolve a more than year-long dispute over technology and industrial policy. Televised hearings of the impeachment inquiry into President Trump are set to begin next week. Bill Taylor, the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, will testify Wednesday, as will other officials who have already given depositions behind closed doors. At a Wednesday night rally in Louisiana, President Trump called the inquiry an illegal sham. We have new information on the massacre of a U.S. family in Mexico. We're learning that the guns used to kill 3 mothers and 6 children were made in the U.S. Police found more than 200 bullets at that scene. Investigators say the person arrested yesterday was not involved in the murder. Federal authorities are charging 2 former Twitter employees with spying on some 6,000 Twitter accounts for Saudi Arabia. They were allegedly paid by that country in cash. It's believed to be the first time the U.S. government has publicly accused the kingdom of spying in the U.S. All right, 6:57 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Jason.
Hello. Vehicles are slowing down at Stoughton Road and back to the posted speed limit by West Broadway, and there's some minor congestion on the Verona Road interchange. Otherwise, there are no issues on the Beltline. There's no problems heading downtown at this time on John Nolan with average lines at the intersections. Many roads have been reported as slick this morning. Take your time and give each other room. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, Jason is right. It could be slippery. Any untreated roads and sidewalks this morning. Sunshine looks nice, but it is cold outside. Temperatures are well below the freezing point. And in fact, we're not expected to climb above freezing at all today. A high of just 26 degrees.
Thank you very much, Hattie. And thanks so much for joining us this morning, folks. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Beat the